Hi, it's Susie from Pink Diamond Guide, and Ricky and I are back to do an energy update. And we've just been chatting about how we can be most of service to the twin flame community. And we know that it's from the place of union, looking back and going, what worked for us to help us work out our scenario to get us to the point where we are now, being back together in harmonious union. So we've been really talking about how the current energies are playing out and the readings that they're bringing forth, and going, well, how did that reflect in our journey? Where were we when these kinds of energies were sort of where they were affecting us? It's like where, you wanted to communicate really, like communication was being pushed forward, and you wanted to be connected, you wanted to be intimate, but you're still in very different places with as where the ascension journey goes.
Our paths weren't aligned. We were still on very different paths.
We weren't even remotely aligned.
Nah.
No.
Nowhere near fucking.
It was a mess. It was a red hot mess, and that
was totally a hot mess.
And we thought, to be able to sit at this space and really sort of dig into sort of the places that we got that caused the runner chaser dynamics, and then how we worked our way through different scenarios. And like when I was going through it, I would have loved to have had a snapshot into what was going on with Ricky, and going, what the hell are you on? What is this game that we're playing with each other? Because it was terrible. Yeah. It was a red hot mess. And I was just saying to Ricky, I sat down to do this reading, and a song popped straight into my head. And I don't know if you'd know it sort of all around the world, but in Australia where we live, Sebastian is like he's one of the most popular recording artists in Australia, and he sings a song called Battlescars. And I'll put the lyrics in the information for you, so
section.
So you can see what the lyrics are all about. But there's one particular verse that was just kind of rolling around my head. And I know that when we'd sort of been together, come apart, and we'd got back together for a little bit, at least we were hanging out and figuring stuff out. But it was messy. It was messy. And like when it came apart that second time, it came apart dramatically. And I just went, not to swear, but F this shit, I'm out of here. And that was when I ran for good and shut the door, blocked, ghosted the whole box and dice. Went, I'm done. I am done. I am out of here. And the feelings that I was going through, there's a verse in that song. It goes, I wish I'd never looked, wish I'd never touched, wish I didn't care so much. All of those feelings where you go, why the hell did I come back around here to just go through this shit again? It's like we were where we were in life was so misaligned, but we had this easy connection. It was so frustrating to want to spend time and then just go, but the way you're living life drives me nuts. And he's going, the way you're living life drives me nuts. And we just, it wasn't the right time for us to be together. So we do talk about, when I reflect on this journey and I'm talking to Divine Feminine in particular, I'm saying if it's a meal you're cooking and it's like it's not baked yet, don't try and eat that meal. Put it back in the oven. You really don't want it until it's
pretty
cooked.
Much what you kind of did with me. Put me back in the oven.
We played that game a couple of times. It's like, are you cooked yet? Come talk to me. Oh no, you ain't baked. Go back. And then that last go round was really where it got dramatic, and it was like where I was just, just stay away from him. Just stay. It doesn't matter if you care about it. It doesn't matter if you love him. It doesn't matter any of those things. Just stay the heck away. This thing just causes pain and frustration. And, we're being vulnerable with our story and putting it out there. I turned my back on him so hard cold that I was married within 6 months. Like I literally turned around and married somebody else within 6 months. That's how hardcore I turned my back on this connection.
And I was too busy partying and drinking and doing everything else.
Mucking around.
And that's what I thought my path was at that time and point. It was just fucked.
We were messy. Honestly, the easy, fun conversations that we're having now really belie everything that we've put each other through to get to this point, and how much growth and ascension that we've been through. And I think that we wanted to tell these sort of more vulnerable sort of parts of our story, because we know where you sit, Divine Feminine, in going the levels of hurt. And look, that's not to say Ricky wasn't going through his own versions of hurt. Generally, the feminine is more aware of the connection first. And they're, having big feelings, big emotions, going, why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
Why can't you just shut up and fly straight? I used to say that to you. Why can't you just shut up and fly straight? So we had some work to do in understanding each other's path more, and the different things that triggered us, I think, was took a minute.
Yeah, we had a connection. And that last separation, I did think, like, I wish we were together and all that and whatnot, but then I kept fucking up drugs and alcohol and, but I still had days I'm like, fuck, I wish.
Why? Yeah. I wish. And it was, that last separation, we both went through our own versions of hell, I would say, but that version.
Way of dealing with that situation, that last separation, we did what we did because it's what we thought was going to be best for us,
Exactly.
That's how we thought was good to heal for us.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm done, line in the sand, I'm moving on. And it wasn't until really, we hadn't talked in ages. And then, I started having dreams. I mean, I've been on this twin flame journey since 2013. So I understood a lot of what was going on. But me turning my back was me tapping out of the journey. I was like, and I went and found somebody else, and I signed up somewhere else, and I went, I am freaking done with twin flames. I'm done with ascension. I'm like, whatever the freak this thing is, I'm done. And it was at that bottom of the pool. I was still learning and growing, but like for probably 12 months, I didn't really push myself to learn anything. And then spirit kicked me in the butt again and said, you need to get back on your journey. And I started.
Threw us into each other's dreams again.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was like when I started doing the work again, suddenly I'm like dreaming about you again, and I'm like, no, I'm not going back there. But here we are.
Yeah, you showed up in my dreams too, so I was like, oh man, what's this?
What is this?
Are you cereal?
We've come a long way, I promise you. And we wanted to sort of, like, Battlescars come up, and that was, I'm probably much more of a Guy Sebastian fan than Ricky is. But that particular song was really rattling around my head when I was sitting down to do this. And I said to Ricky, that's where it was. That's what I was thinking, that I just wish I'd never come back around you to have that last real knife in the chest to cause that last separation. But that last separation served us both incredibly. The amount of growth that we went through, and it was nearly 2 years, I think, that we didn't talk to each other. Was
that
it
separation was definitely needed.
We sorted a lot out.
Yeah.
So we share this with you because what we feel is coming up for Divine Feminine is that moment where you just go, that big tap out moment, or that big where the push, and you might even come back into connection with your twin flame. But essentially what we feel is coming is that moments where you're going, I just wish I'd never gone through this part of the journey. But then the thing that comes after that is the true ascension, the true benefit of separation comes after you really have that moment of going, oh, just it feels like a tap out. And even though that that you're on your journey, and I was still thinking about it. Look, I don't deny it. But I wasn't
thinking about each other. We just didn't know it.
Exactly. And I wasn't. I didn't.
There was no
think
contact.
It would come back around.
No contact. No nothing.
Yeah. Well, so that's that part. Now let's try and draw a reading on this that's helpful. What we want to know is like if Divine Feminine is hitting this similar precipice, and it plays out differently for everybody. Like there are patterns to twin flames and divine connections, absolutely, but your story might play out slightly different to somebody else's, and your runner chaser patterns might be slightly different. But energies are pretty consistent across across the journey in going that you'll probably hit this tap out point where you want to tap out of the journey altogether. And I've told you I've raged at the divine in previous readings. I've admitted that that was part of my journey. I've raged at him showing up in my life at all. Fully. Like full proper rage. Like it's a big journey and the emotions are huge, and I think divine feminine is really coming to some kind of precipice on these. And we wanted to do a bit of a read for you and see sort of what's coming around. Particularly, we still got Venus and Mercury in Cancer, so you're probably having some really, really big feelings at the moment about wanting to be connected and wanting to communicate deep emotions. But when Mercury moves into Leo, it's going to be like a firecracker gets put underneath it.
Yeah.
So you might be in that real pressure cooker scenario where your feelings are on overdrive, and also you want to communicate or you want to resolve is going to be on overdrive as well. And it might lead you to wanting to just rage or tap out or suppress. It could play out in a number of different ways. So we wanted to do a bit of a read and see how, if we could help. So I'm going to read for the divine feminine. We do read from the perspective of the divine feminine because by and large, I keep saying feminine. Slow down. Feminine. Ease up, Turbo. Feminine, because by and large that's who we're talking to the most. And we do want to shout out to everybody who's been talking to us, our lovely little community who's reaching out. Seeing more of you reaching out on Facebook as well and direct messaging, which is lovely. We're also on Instagram. Reach out on any of those platforms, and here on YouTube if you want to connect with us. We love connecting with the community. We just want to help wherever we can. So, reading from the perspective of the divine feminine, and Ricky will read from the perspective of the divine masculine, and then we'll draw some divine love oracle to wrap it up. Here we go. What do we got? Six of Pentacles. We've got the Nine of Swords. We've got the Five of Swords. We've got the Two of Swords, and we've got the Two of Wands. We've got the Eight. Oh no, we don't. We've got the Strength card. Why did see? Look, I wanted to say Eight. I saw that Infinity. It just jumped out at me, which is that's not a slip. I'm going to dive into that. Underneath the deck, let's take 6 cards. Oh, see, look, divine feminine. This is kind of what I was picking up. See this? You're coming to that point where you're really getting to that intense point of all the knives in the back, and it's going to play out slightly differently. You know, the collective is really, really large, so for me to say exactly what your scenario is going to be, that is going to bring this energy to the surface, the Ten of Swords. But it is that moment of where you're going, I'm tired of all of these knives in my back. I don't think I can hold the weight of this anymore. And that's what I was speaking about. It's like after that, before we had that last long separation, this is what I felt like. I was like, can you stick another knife in my back? Can you find one more? Can you have a crack at it? Because like, seriously, I just can't take anymore. And it was like, what follows next? See? Can't even make that up. That was what happened next. I am tapping out. Bye-bye. And this is what I'm feeling for you, divine feminine. And it's like if you might have been in a small amount of contact, or you might get a little bit of contact in this next sector. But I feel like the big push for you in the next go round is this getting to the real apex of this Ten of Swords, which is coming to the end of it. 10 is good. You come to the end of it. But the weight of those swords in your back leads you into this Hanged Man space. Now, what is fantastic about the Hangman is look what I've got in this representation. Now I've created these tarot cards specifically with my ascension journey in mind, so you'll see a lot of staircases, you'll see a lot of water, you'll see a lot of processes that are connected to ascension and quantum mechanics, and it has the basic Rider-Waite intention behind it, but I'm always looking for how the ascension process is going to be playing out. So I wanted to kind of update tarot when I created it and go, what have I been through in tarot? The Rider-Waite really does have a great message, but I wanted to bring things like the quantum realm and ascension into how I put these cards together. So in this hangman position, so if we're taking a break out from this very, very heavy scenario that you've been through, where pain has just got to a point where you go, I am tapping out, I cannot do another day, take your freaking swords and go, because I just can't do it. But in this moment, you go, I wish I'd never felt, wish I'd never touched, wish I'd never come anywhere near you. But what it triggers is the ascension journey. And whatever you need to do to move into that path, and I kind of delayed this space for about probably a year. And I just chased another relationship. I just thought I could bring somebody else in, not think, yeah.
Bring someone else in, forget it all.
Yeah, and just go, I'm tapping out of twin flames. I just don't want to do it. But when this hangman journey started in earnest for me, like that ascension staircase was what that was all about. And it's kind of what brought Ricky back into my dream space, which, led to us having reconnection eventually. It was that kind of energy that brought us back around. But this triggered this intensely, and it was like, and then I got really, really serious on this ascension staircase. And I was picking this up in your energy today for me to be singing Battlescars, and I will put the lyrics in there for you because I think they'll resonate, divine feminine. That this is where you get to some serious reflections about why do you keep hanging on to this person who does this to you. Doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't make sense. But then when you start to really understand that the whole point of the exercise is for you to both understand separation and oneness as an ideal, as a concept. If you can get to that point where you're understanding separation and oneness, and like I always say, what happens to one affects the other. You get serious about understanding the journey. Somehow it has that effect. The void in between you is not nothing. It's a something. It's an entanglement. So while you're making this ascension process and focusing on you in that tap out time, if this is what you decide, if you decide to tap out and just go, I'm just going to take this hangman time and work on my ascension, to me that was the kicker for the journey. When I got really serious, I didn't try to replace him anymore. I didn't try to not think. I just got serious about ascension in this hangman space. And I think, look, I think Ricky, I'm a talker quite clearly of the two of us. And when you talk about that same time as going, even though we're in separation, you still felt the connection, but didn't feel like you could do anything about it.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So it just kind of hung there.
The hangman.
It just kind of hung out there.
Just hanging around.
Nobody did anything about it.
No, we were just hanging around.
But you were learning?
Yeah.
You were hanging out, doing your thing?
Yeah.
Ascension was the thing. It was what was happening. We were moving through our own individual processes to come to a better place. And look what comes out the other side of that, the Knight of Cups, is I love the Knight of Cups. He's one of my favourites because he's just in love with love, and like on the other side of this ascension journey, it's like it's you do come out with this energy of feeling like you're I don't know, much more capable of expression is what I want to say. But during this time, what I want to say is that during this hangman time for me, I did a lot of creating things. I was building things, making things, drawing these cards, making the oracles. I was doing a lot of things that really express creativity. But on top of that, I was putting in effort, to action it, to do something really constructive with it. So it was this, and the Knight of Cups he is art and poetry and all those kinds of things. And I would say that the hangman scenario really did put me back into a space of, because I'm an artist by trade, that's what I had been to uni to learn, and that's what I was working in, what I was doing. And so for me, like, to have that expressive energy, art and poetry and writing, to juxtapose, in all that uni arty language. That was really, what came out of this hangman time was I was expressing more truth, more balance, more. It was a more beautiful expression, and I wasn't trying to put a band-aid over the pain anymore. I was just like, I really need to get to the truth of of how I operate and how I move, and it became a much more honest expression of who I was. I wasn't cranky anymore. I really understood that the things that he was doing was designed to get me to do this, to move into this space, and then to be able to express, and then you start to make progress. Here comes the Knight of Pentacles, right? Day by day, I love the Knight of Pentacles. He decides what his ultimate outcome is, and I would go, all right, if this is meant to come back around, the only way it's going to come back around is if I get up every single day and do what I'm supposed to do. Ascend, express, bring this balance into masculine and feminine. You get up every day and you make an effort towards that, guess what you get? The world. This is the graduation. This is the legit graduation from all of that work that you go through, all of that pain, all of the suffering, all of the meditating, all of the thinking, all of the working. It's a big job to be a twin flame. Like, people can romanticize what it is to be a twin flame, and I'm going to tell you, it's work. It's hard work. You've got to, you just run the gauntlet to be able to understand what these connections are about. And where does it come from? From the most brutal of feeling like you've been stabbed in the back. And like when it hits your heart space, when this Ten of Swords hits your heart space, it's brutal. But the work brings you into the world and you get everything that you need. It's like graduation day. You've run the gauntlet. You know who you are. You know what you're about. And even if they come back around and they're half-baked and you've got to put them back in the oven for a minute, the cycles are much shorter. And it's like the ability to express is much better. And what comes out of that is hope for a future. Putting the connection in the spotlight and putting you in the spotlight, Divine Feminine, on mission, on task, and moving in the direction of your dreams. The Star card is a beautiful push from the universe after all this effort. But the reason that I really wanted to reflect on this energy though is to look at the journey that is. And if you get to the point where you go, all I want to do is tap out. The reason that we're sharing this part of the story is because I feel it's a really vulnerable space for you right now, and it feels counterintuitive. And I just want to let you know that we could not have been messier at this point. I could not have been messier at this point, and I think he was oblivious to the real truth of the story that was playing out. Quite honestly, he was just going about
I had no idea what I was doing.
Just chuck another sword in me back, why don't you? While you're at it, it wasn't fun. It was messy.
It was very messy.
It was messy.
It wasn't pretty at all.
It wasn't pretty. So we're telling you this story because we can sit here and laugh about it now, but this is what it took to get to the point where we're sitting here and laughing and wanting to reach back and help you is this kind of thing, is to do your work. And the Knight of Cups really helped me to be creative and express myself and get up every day and do something. And then the outcome is you graduate and hope returns. You come back into the energy of the star. So that feels like a cycle that wants to play out. And I'm putting that on the back of this song, Battlescars. So let's have a look. The universe is giving you the Six of Pentacles, Divine Feminine. Now this energy is all about giving, isn't it? And it's like for mine, it's like the universe wants to give and take in equal measure. So, you might be feeling like you're sort of out on a limb right now, Divine Feminine, and it's like going, does it feel like I should give to this journey? Does it feel like I shouldn't? And what I want to say is like the universe wants to give to you. So it's not about you giving your everything to this person anymore. That kind of energy is, if you are in separation and no contact and this person has run, there's it's time to receive from the universe. It's not time to continue to chase this Ten of Swords energy. Seriously, if you've got to this point and you want to tap out, let the universe give you some comfort. Now, I'm not religious by any stretch of the imagination, but I tell you what, I lent on the teachings of Jesus Christ a lot over this twin flame journey. about finding comfort in spirit and different ways that you can ascend and find peace. And this is how the Six of Pentacles is showing up to me at this point, particularly with that battle scars energy coming around. It's like the universe wants to give you comfort. It wants to give you relief. I'm not seeing this Six of Pentacles as in this earthly, which are, normally you probably would. You'd see it as some kind of a charity scenario. But for me, this is you sitting here with pennies raining down from heaven, pennies raining down from the divine. And see this idea of this black and white. The universe creates from these positives and negatives and from these neutral aspects. And it's like, for mine, the universe wants to give you some comfort right now. It's not asking you to give to the person. It's not asking you to fix the scenario. It's asking you to go, do you want to get to the end of that Ten of Swords? Look, can we let that Ten of Swords be the reason that you step into this energy, into this hangman, and let the universe rain down some pennies on your head. Like when I say raining down pennies, like to me it's raining down comfort. And I would take a lot of comfort from teachings from Christ. I would, everything, because it wasn't just the twin flame thing that was going on. Life comes at you. I was fighting with my family. My business was suffering because of COVID. Like I had to leave my house. I had a bucket load of things raining down on me on top of what was going on here. And Ricky will tell you he's no different. He had a bucket load of crap.
Oh yeah, like just as Susie, like I was fighting with my own family, lost our house, had struggle street, had couch surfed for a bit over a year or something, but it was hard. It wasn't pretty.
No, it wasn't. It was like life just, after that, when we went into that big separation together, it was like life just was upheaval in 50 different ways for us both.
We just went, here you go, here's the fucking bottom of the fucking barrel. Start from there again. Dig yourself out.
Yeah, have another crack. Yeah. And it was like, where did I find comfort through all of this? And I don't know if you reflect the same, but I really felt comfort in reaching out for, higher answers. I would meditate and I would reach up to the divine. And I know this is more a new practice to you than it has been to me. So at the time, it was really, I would seek answers. And I feel like this is what's coming around for you too, Divine Feminine. So I think the energy for the Divine Masculine will be different. But yours is like this comfort from heaven rains down and helps to give you answers. I also see this with this, because I'm picking this up on another, like sometimes I'll just say that you're getting information through the dream space, but I actually think you're worrying as well. So it's like there's this push that's coming upon you in this next cycle. For mine, it's like the more that you get worried and stressed about what's going on and that you don't listen to the guidance of the divine, the more that it will unsettle your sleep, or the less clear the messages will be from the divine. And see, this when this stuff comes down, I can't even tell you, and I've been talking with our community about it, is like when you get a download, you might get that ringing in your ears, you might feel like a wave of exhaustion. Like you just have to stop and let the information come through. And it is when you're in that hangman energy that you get these gifts from the divine. You get comfort, you get instruction, you get puzzles to chase. They're kind of, I reckon they're like a bit of a little treasure hunt. It's like they'll give you little clues and you've got to follow this clue to that clue to that clue, and till they kind of finally show up in your 3D and you go, oh, that's what that was all about. But I feel like this is where you could be right now, Divine Feminine, if you'll just let the universe give to you. For mine, this is not about a giving in the 3D. I know I've kind of jumped backwards there, but it can cause confusion in that 5D sleep realm when the divine keeps throwing messages at you that you don't necessarily know how to make sense of. And like this stuff that rained down on me was like weird stuff like sacred geometry and other dimensions and quantum mechanics that there's no way I could have understood what the hell they were saying if I didn't trust the process, keep journaling and taking notes and putting the pieces together. And sometimes I would literally sit up all night trying to puzzle it together. And I referred to The Scientist the other day, that song The Scientist, where it's quite literally about putting puzzle pieces together to to solve a romantic connection on some level. This is what it can feel like, sitting up all night with all of these thoughts, all of these layers of information coming down from the divine. And if you're going through this right now, divine feminine, like it can feel frustrating, it can feel like a lot, it can feel exhausting, and you can go, where the hell does my twin flame fit into all of this? To mine, it's going, like, I put that aside. I went, I'm not going to feel this anymore. Yes, I'll think about you. I'm going to think about you in a healthy way and hope you're okay. Hope you're sorting your shit out. Hope like hell you're sorting your shit out.
You best be finishing.
You best be sorting your shit out. But so this to me was cast aside. I went, I don't want to feel it anymore. I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to sit in this space, and however you seek comfort in that space, and let these pennies from heaven drop that are pearls of wisdom, though they might keep you up at night or unsettle your cycle of sleep. There's a lot of information to be gained, and I see this as an ascension path through these swords and through these ideals until you get to a level of wisdom. What I like about having this card in your soul space, look at this. If we're going into this energy where we're saying I'm going to cast aside this energy. For mine, and I've read this card this way a couple of times. I think it's come in the soul space a couple of times.
Yeah.
It really is the energy of victory, but there's some level of collateral damage, and it's going, I'm sorry, divine masculine, but right now I'm done. I can't give you any more of my energy. And I know we've got this great connection, whatever, but we just don't align. And because we don't align, you hurt me. I just end up feeling hurt. I just can't take what's going on. I'm going to go off and do my own thing. And it feels counterintuitive because you go, I just want to stick with this person. I just want to stick with them. I care about them. I love them. I just want to sort this shit out, but I just can't do this. I just can't. And this process of collateral damage, of cutting away what you can't deal with, it actually feels like a bit of a victory. You feel a bit strong as much as you feel weak, which is kind of like everything feels counterintuitive and confusing. And, did I make some dodgy decisions in that process? Probably. Did Ricky make some? Probably.
Hell yeah.
Hell to the yeah. But it's like we couldn't continue like this. And the song I'm getting, Battlescars, like I'm sure if you took those swords out, there'd be one or two Battlescars under there. So to see this in your soul space, like I find this really encouraging for the energy that I feel pushing upon you. And if I'm reflecting it correctly from the same space that I was in, this felt strong, even though it felt weak, if that makes sense. And these ideals that I dropped on the ground, like of twin flames, and for a little while I dropped the idea of ascending past where I was. But I still felt some level of victory. So if you get to that point and you go, I just don't even know if I want to be in the journey anymore, I'm going to encourage you to stick with it. I will, because I say that it's like being a soul surfer, and that the universe just keeps waxing your surfboard and going, you're ready to go get back on the ride. It's like they don't destroy your surfboard, they keep waxing it, ready for you to catch the next wave, even if for a minute you want to rest on the beach and catch your breath and deal with your battle scars. This says there's a level of strength in taking that breather. So if this energy that comes upon you in the next cycle just feels like it's too much to bear and you need to take a break, and yet it feels counterintuitive, I'm going to say, I see you. I see you 1000%, and we'll keep reading on the energies to continue to support you. And what I'm also encouraged to say to this next wave of twins going through is the cycles move a lot quicker. The group of twin flames, or the wave of twin flames that we would connect as kind of our soul tribe, who kind of went through this at the same level or time as we did to come into union. It was a much slower process, but things feel like, it's quickening. There's a definite quickening in the energy. So I want to say to you that I would be highly encouraged at how much quicker these separations are moving through, and that in taking your break, even though it might feel counterintuitive, I don't think you'll be sitting in this, in this space for long before the universe offers you the surfboard to want to get back on the ride again. What's in your challenge? Quite literally what I'm saying. Going, two schools of thought. Do I stay or do I go now? I've had it. I've had enough of feeling like this. I'm going to take a minute to go, what is the journey all about? And do I want to tap in or tap out? Do I want to continue my ascension journey? Do I want to catch the next wave? Do I just want to write this whole thing off as a bad joke and go, I'm freaking done? So twin flames have more. I know a lot of this journey feels contrived and like you're not in control, but you can tap out. You can catch the next wave. There's no, while the patterns and the doctrines are there to guide us, no two twin flame journeys are the same. And we'll talk about twins who've got their counterpart on the other side of the veil. Even like these twin journeys, they have common elements like the runner chaser paradigms and the pain of separation and learning about separation and oneness as their base ideal. But it's like you still do have free will, and the twins will ascend in waves. And if you need to catch the next wave, it's not that the journey goes away for you or the blessing disappears. It's just going, am I ready to keep ascending now, or am I going to take a break? And it's spending time with the divine and understanding Christ consciousness, understanding what the purpose of the whole mission is and what the ascension of the planet is all about. So your challenge is to know what the truth is. Am I even a twin flame? Gosh, is this all just a big bullshit journey? And what am I even on here? So this will be a challenge for you under this next wave of energy, because you'll be feeling a push to wanting to be connected and intimate. You'll feel a push of like communication and fiery energy, like it's on steroids. And then you'll be having this whole thing. Well, my twin's not even talking to me, and in fact, this is how he makes me feel. So do I want to connect and be intimate? Do I want to have conversations about how we fix this? Oh, oath I do. Yeah, I really do. Talk to me. Let's figure this out. And then on the other thing is like, don't come near me. Do not bring that shit near me. I just can't deal with it another day. So under this next energy, this is what I feel like to have this come up as a challenge for you. Feels so on point, and it's at the heart of what I was feeling when I went to do this read, and Battlescars, that song comes on, because it's like going, I wish I didn't have to be making these decisions. I wish I wasn't in this madness. If I had never reached out and touched your face, if I'd never looked at you, if I'd never known you, any of the above, I wouldn't be in this bloody scenario where I've got these knives in my back, but somehow I want to be on this magic journey with you. Like, how freaking crackers am I? It's a nutty journey, and to be able to get to the truth of it is really tough. And look what you've also got in the advice from Spirit. Two of Wands. So not only here are they saying, oh, you're going to be confused under this next round of energies, but you're going to have the choice. Tap in or tap out, Divine Feminine. Tap in or tap out, and look at this behind you. Here's the divine peeking through saying, follow me, here's the path. This is what we're going to do. Are you going to take this wand, or are you going to take this wand with you? Choose one. Tap in, tap out. Are we going to continue? Are you going to continue to understand what it is to know separation and oneness? Are you going to continue to ascend on your journey? Are you going to take a Band-Aid solution? And like, I put my hand up, I took one. I went, I'm tapping out.
I took a couple of Band-Aid solutions.
You took several. Who are you kidding?
Several.
Several.
It was several, not a couple. Sorry.
We took Band-Aids. Let's just... So, Divine Feminine, at your feet. Tap in or tap out. So it's like... for mine, it feels like you come to some kind of a precipice on where that journey sits for you, and I want to say I see you, I understand it, and Ricky and I are going to continue to keep our finger on the pulse of these energies, and anyone who's tapping in or feels like this information is relevant, we're going to be here to help. That's what we've set as our mission moving forward, having got through what we went through. to be here now to be talking to you.
I
Righto.
hope the next wave through.
The next wave,
Yeah.
right? And look at the outcome. I hate this for you, Divine Feminine. I hate this. I don't even want to read on it. You know why? Because it's a strength card as an outcome. And you know, when you need the strength card is because you feel fear and anxiety. When do you need strength is when you feel weak, right? And like I talk about in this strength card, oh, that's an alarm. Thank you, darling. We've got like two pillars here, and if this is the two vessels that you live in, and this is the push from the divine, the likely outcome is that you're going to have to be strong in maintaining these connections or maintaining your position in these connections without folding one way or the other. So you can turn back to chaser energy and you can close that void. And that's the fear is like if I tap into focusing on ascension and not just worrying about where they are, what they're doing, what band-aids they're using to get themselves through their current chapter in life. You know, like if you're going to close that void for them and keep chasing, they're never going to stop doing the things that they do to hurt you. Take it from me. Take it from me. I could have closed that gap for Ricky all day long. Loved spending time in his company. Freaking hated the knives that he threw at me, but still wanted to go hang out with him. Hated the knives. Where are you? Come here. Go away. I didn't know what to do. But essentially, I got to the point where I went, there's the void was this is like literally no contact. And I think this is why this strength card comes around for you now, Divine Feminine, because I think you're reaching a similar precipice in your journey where it's going to take some level of will to say that you're still tapped into the journey, but that you're not going to chase. So, and that feels counterintuitive. I know it does. You can tap in, you can be this vessel for the divine and continue to carve the path for twin flames, and we'll be right here to support you. You can close the gap and chase, or you can tap out altogether. Sorry, my kids are out there in the background making a bit of a ruckus. But we persist. They're fine. Where are we at? Divine Masculine. So this is our first one for the Divine Masculine. Look, the King of Pentacles. And I like seeing this. Like the Divine wants the King of Pentacles to get to work. You know, like the King of Pentacles he's a leader, and look, he has this divine push in here, knowing what his mission is. He's connected to the earth plane, and he's solid, and he's stable, and he brings a presence that's very balanced and nurturing forward. I like that this push from the, and we're talking about mission here when I'm talking, you know, we're talking specific twin flames, so I'm looking at specific ideals. I'm not doing a general read for the general populace. This is specific for twin flames. So when I see holding an Ace of Pentacles and when I see a king come through for the Divine Masculine as the push from the universe, for mine, that is that push against him is to rise up and step into this role of strength, being the, you know, his side of the pillars, you know, helping hold up this mission for you know, you and the divine, the masculine and feminine side by side doing the work of the divine. And for him to do that, he needs to take this mission and take this pentacle on board and really move forward in it. So there is a push from the universe for the masculine to get on mission. What's your second card? Oh, really? Yeah, look, he's confused. You're confused. He's confused. Doesn't this exactly? He shows up more confused, like in the physical realm. You're probably taking you're a step forward in that you're having like discussions with. I read this as information coming through to you that you're processing, and see this series of ideals that you're moving up a ladder of ideals and understanding them, even if they're confusing. You're processing, whereas he's just sitting there going, I don't know, Arthur from Martha, with these two swords that I've got. They're two competing ideas. I've got the divine saying I've got to get on mission, but here in this idea, the ocean is behind. He can't even see. And if we look at this divine, I always look at water as being connected to spirit, and the Holy Spirit that connects us all, that push, that combined consciousness. He's got his back turned to it. Here, he's got two schools of thought. Same as you. Same as you. Is this a thing or is this not a thing? Will I take one of my swords and, gosh, has she got any more room left on her back? Could she take one more? Could she? Could I swing one more? Or should I lay all these swords down and help her take some of those swords out of her back? He won't be able to do. You've got to take the swords out of your back. You've got to heal. That's not what he's got to do. He's got to sort his own mess out. And these battle scars, they're yours to come to terms with. Do you have big conversations about this kind of scenario? Absolutely, but it's from a very different place than when it first happened, or it's matured somehow, or it has more perspective on the other side of going through an ascension journey. But what I'm looking at here as the way that he's showing up in the world is that he might be telling everybody on this side that the scenario he's got going on is awesome, and this sword over here is going, God, my situation's messed up. It's like those two very big schools of thought, and then the push from the universe is going, well, I've got a whole new idea for you. Turn around and look behind you. Come for a swim. I've got a whole new school of thought for you to explore. It's gonna mess you up good. What have you got? Yeah, look, see? Can't even make that up, hey? Is like in the soul space, you've got this, look, you've got, I'm having this victory because I've decided I'm going to go on my way. I'm sorry, no more Ten of Swords for me. I've had a bloody gutful. I actually want to have this energy of victory in my soul space and start to whether, and look, this is the thing, free will is big, whether you tap out altogether or whether you get onto a next level of ascension, whatever that looks like for you. I see you and promise you I tapped out majorly. Divine masculine here, some very, very defensive energy about listening to this push from the divine. Look, do I really want to get on mission? I'm confused about what it all means, so I'm going to have a bit of a pushback, which is, it leaves you going, like, if the push from the universe in the next cycle, honestly, is going, you get this big push to want to be connected intimately. You get this big push to want to communicate, but the energies around everybody is just confusing. I don't see that as conducive to being healthy to bring union round. And I actually feel that we went through this push, we came back together, and it was messy. It was messy. It's like it was. So if it happens, if it happens to you that you come back around, like this defensive push in the soul, you might feel that really, really strongly. And I'm telling you, it wasn't for us. It wasn't pretty. If it comes back around for you and you need support, you need to reach out. You need to push them back, and however you need to feel strong through that process. Divine Feminine, we see you, and this next cycle feels like it's going to be a big push. If you get connection from this person, you might find that they're like, it's very push-pull, or they're very defensive about letting you in because they're not sure. It's like they want connection, but they don't want connection. And it's like it just leaves you going, what the hell is this mess, right? It just doesn't serve to bring these connections forward until they're really ready to align. And when they're ready to align, it's a whole different ball game. And I know I'm giving a couple of different scenarios here. I'm saying for some of you, you're going to have these connections come forward and they're going to be challenging and they might be messy. And for others, you'll stay in no contact because this defensive energy will prevent contact altogether. We can't read for every single set of twins out there, but what we can read is the energy that's going to push against you. What people do with their own free will is going to see the patterns play out slightly differently across the collective. But what essentially I'm saying is that whether you get connection or not, you're probably going to find that you two have both got cross wires about what's going on. So this push to be intimate and this push to communicate, when you're not in alignment, when you're not ready to hold the connection, is probably just going to lead to a whole lot more confusion. And if that is the case, Divine Feminine, if you find yourself in this scenario, just know we're going to be here. Reach out. We're happy to help talk about our experiences or anything that we can do to support you through anything that might play out that way.
Most definitely.
See? Look. See? I don't really want to be reading these energies for you, but I'm feeling them very, very intensely. Battlescars, Divine Feminine. What's the challenge? What's the challenge right now is that if you two come together under this next push, which is highly likely, that twins will receive contact. So, not everybody. I want to make that really, really expressly clear that not every set of twins will play this out exactly the same. But look at this fight energy that comes over the top of it. This wanting to argue and clash because Divine Masculine hasn't turned the corner of this particular wave. They have not turned the corner where they know that they're on mission and what they've got to do and how they're meant to, or not how they're meant to, but ideally how they could show up in a connection to bring harmonious union about. And confusion, like if you're in this space going, I don't know whether to stay or go, tap in, tap out, rest, whatever. And then he goes, well, if you don't know, how the hell am I going to know? I'm feeling this push. I feel like I want to connect with you. I feel like I want to talk to you. I feel like I want to be in your company. It feels like there's something here that needs to be explored. But when you get in that space, this. And it leaves you both going, why do we keep doing this? Why do we do this to each other? Right? Why do you do this to each other? It's because you're a twin flame. And it's that separation. Oh, is this what you've drawn as advice?
Yeah.
It's tough, and I am feeling this intently, and it's, part of me doesn't even want to share this reading. I'm going to, because it's our job to reach out and let you know if there's going to be some bumpy water. Spirit says, bumpy water, look, bumpy water. That there's, some Divine Masculine might resist that push, that, Venus in Cancer wanting to be intimate and connected. Leo and Mercury dancing, wanting to communicate, and that communication is on steroids. We went through this cycle.
Definitely did.
We did, and
100%.
it was we came back together. We were not in alignment with each other, probably as out of alignment as we've ever been, and we did this to each other brutally. Look, I don't want to sound like a doomsdayer. I don't. I just want to go that if this is happening, if this is playing out, not to lose hope. Not to give up on the fight of, working through your pain so that it doesn't become suffering, and that know that will be, if we can be a ray of hope to you, that you can overcome this, and that the divine will walk you through the darkest of days and bring you out the other side to, to show you what the truth of twin flames is all about. Separation and oneness is at the core of what it is. And here you go, look, Divine Masculine, if you've got Three of Swords and this is the push that you're feeling, that is going to be under this energy, that you're actually going to feel the sting of this, right? And the sting of this is what makes you move forward under these energies. And what you find is that your Divine Feminine is going, I'm just not sure anymore. I'm not sure if I want to go another round of this with you, which brings some level of fight and argument. It brings levels of confusion. These energies do not align with a harmonious union at this point. That's not to say it's not coming, and it will come around quicker. These energies move quicker for you, but it is to say that this might be a difficult cycle because your outcome is going to require strength. What have you got? Oh, finally. Can we give a ray of hope? Thank you. Thank you.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. Look, divine masculine, we've got the magician, and I'm so glad that this came out in this energy, because look, you have got here, if we read these two together, you've got this very, very defensive energy playing out in your soul space, but the push from the universe is for you to get on mission. What is the magician all about? He's all about the alchemy. He's all about the change. He's all about the fresh new start. He's at the start, like he's the fool and then the magician. So you take that leap of faith, you get out on mission, you start to understand what's going on, and all of the tools of the universe. Oh, don't you love it when it comes full circle and it hits you in your head? The divine feminine, right? You're being rained down on the universe with more and more puzzles and clues. And you know what I always say to you, that if this is you too, you start at one particle, if you're in separation and you're that split particle, and if you look up split particle experiment, 20 miles apart, this one particle sitting in two parts, they apply a force on one particle and it starts to vibrate, and the other particle responds. And it's like there's no force being applied here. The force is being applied here, and it looks like there's nothing in between. There's a void. But the void is not nothing. It is the place of entanglement of those particles. Even when they're separated, those particles are never not one. This is how you understand oneness and separation. That even when you're in separation and you're not together, you're in separate bodies, and the separation is that you're not even in contact, then nothing is not nothing. That void is where quantum entanglement occurs. Now, I'm using the analogy generally because you're made up of billions of particles naturally, but your billions of particles and their billions of particles, if they've come from the same point of origin, you have the same soul blueprint, and that you are that split particle, what happens over here is going to affect over here. So here, the push from the universe on the divine feminine is all these pennies from heaven. These are these drops of wisdom. These are the things that transform the journey and get you on ascension. If you've listened so far to this divine feminine, this is the biggest pearl of wisdom I can drop out of this reading. What is going to happen to you in the next cycle after this, if it's messy, if it comes upon you and it's messy, this is what comes next. That you get so many pearls of wisdom that you start to vibrate higher, you start to understand the journey more, you start to move forward. What happens to the divine masculine as an outcome, he transforms. Don't know anything about that, do we, Ricky?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
No.
We sit here as testament to this energy. We do. Fully, because this was happening to me, and here where like there's no way the Susie and Ricky that came together under this energy back here we're going to be sitting in this energy now, this transformed magician energy, where we're expressing.
No one would have thought if they had seen and known what we did, what we're going through. No one would have known.
No. I think our families scratch their heads, and people who know us are going,
what the hell are you two doing? Like,
what the hell has happened to you two? Like, it is quite literally the magician. Like, I've transformed, very definitely. Like my family and friends have seen my transformation, and Ricky's family and friends have seen his transformation, and they've looked at our union and gone, what the hell? How are you two sticking together? And this energy, the battle scars, I'm not even going to say they're healing. I feel like they've healed. They've healed. And it was magic. There was some level of alchemy to it. It wasn't like I had to beat him over the head and say, or maybe a little bit, but no, not really. Not really.
Just a tad bit.
This was his work. That was all your work, full credit. It's like this was happening to me over here, but this is the Ricky that I reunited with, somebody who transformed of his own journey, of his own accord, and I transformed of my journey of my own accord, and it brought us to a place where we could hold union together and
keep our connection.
And like we say, our motto with each other now is we don't run. We don't run. And we certainly don't wound each other the way that we did once upon a time. And I know that I've put swords in Ricky's back. I'm speaking from my perspective a lot, and I talk more than he does, so I get away with it. But I know that I put swords in Ricky's back as well, and there's things about the way that I behave that definitely caused that, that I've transformed, and he's seen that I've transformed. And to me, this outcome of the magician, when we've got this push, and I said to you, like when I read it, I said, this doesn't feel worldly to me. This feels like pennies from heaven, like the universe is dropping wisdom bombs on the divine feminine, and she's coming into clarity and understanding. Whether she chooses to move forward with it at this time, completely up to her. But this is going to happen regardless. The universe will, if you're a true twin flame, the universe will keep waxing that surfboard and offering you the next ride. And here, what's the outcome for the divine masculine? Oh, I love this. The magician. After what felt like it was just this heavy reading, and I'm just giving like no heavy stuff. This divine feminine, and this, if you're watching divine masculine, this is what we want to see happen. This magic transformation.
That's
Feeling
a lot
much
of work.
better.
It's a lot of work.
It is, and I've already spoken for an hour. I'm gonna zip through these really quickly. And if you want to grab 3 cards, one for the feminine, one for the masculine, and one for the connection. So what have we got underneath the deck? We've got the push from the universe on the divine masculine. Get to work. I'm not even kidding. You got this up here too. Look, 8 of Pentacles is all about mastery and getting on task, getting on mission, and the push from the universe is that you do so. Here, are you going to do it on your own? Yeah, you are. You're going to do it on your own for a little bit, but we're cheering you on and we're welcoming you to the party. And if you're finding us divine masculine and you want to, which I have had some divine masculines reach out, which I love, like talking to them and seeing where they are from their point of view. Yes, you are walking, you've got to make this transformation, and it's going to take some work, but the universe is pushing you there. Queen of Wands, show up real. I want to say this, the Queen of Wands can have a bit of a she's look, I don't want to say that there can be a level of hoitiness about it. That's what I want to say. To me, there feels like there's some level of ego playing out here. So I want to say, keep it real, divine masculine. When you're getting on this journey, anytime when you feel like this defensive energy wants to come against you, I really want to just say, keep it real. The Queen of Wands, she has her, it is a fiery energy, which is, we've got Mercury and Leo coming up, so wands are connected to fire. So when this push to communicate comes against you, keep it real. Like, please, no more swords in the feminine's back. If you're going to reach out and you're going to make this push, we want to know that you're ready, that you're on mission. You don't have to be complete. You don't have to be done. You just have to be working. You have to be working for the cause of being on this mission, of being a twin, and show up real. I don't know why I want to say there's something fake about this energy, but I want to call you out, divine masculine. If you're coming forward, make sure your communication is based in something solid and connected to not putting more swords in the back. Like, I just want to say there's something fake about that energy, and the push from the universe is going, keep it very real. What have we got over here? Yeah, look, keep it real. Keep it wise. Keep it on point. Keep it on track. Show up with, if you're going to come forward, just don't mess around with divine feminine again. She's had enough. So if you're not ready, let this defensive energy hold you back until you are ready. And divine feminine, if your masculine is pulled back and doing the work, celebrate him. Celebrate him having this push of the Hierophant against him, because I tell you, that's the version that you want. Oh, two of Pentacles again. Look, I want to say it, divine feminine, that if your masculine shows up, it feels like it might be, and look, you do have the Lovers there as well. So it might be this energy of juggling that wisdom, because look, this Two of Pentacles is still looking at the lower one, and we've got the water traveling behind. I'm just picking up this energy, not that it's necessarily how the cards are reading to me, but around this, that there's, maybe he knows what's going on. He's juggling the truth and the wisdom of the scenario. And this defensive energy is probably why it's happening. So he may show up in some very confused energy. I'm just going to say there's a level of fakery around this. The universe is pushing for some level of realness, truth, consistency, but even if they feel this and understand it, I just feel like there's something underpinning. Oh, look, I'm going to take that one. Look, Page of Wands. This is what I'm feeling.
Yeah, but look underneath the Page of Wands.
Oh, see, look, we'll let Ricky tell this story. Look, he's here in defense of the divine masculine. Sorry, divine masculine, but this is what I'm feeling. This less committed, this more wishy-washy at the start line energy that's not quite here to stick. But here comes the star, as so rightly pointed out, that the divine is putting a healthy push on the divine masculine, even if some of the water's missing its mark. It's not quite, all the information is not quite getting there. He's at the starting line with that wand, which is that fiery energy. And look, I will take that one just because I like to work in threes. Look, the universe wants to give to the divine masculine too. That's the push from underneath the deck. You've got that force really coming at you thick and strong, whereas the divine masculine, and we'll concede this too, is that I felt like, I got these pearls of wisdom, but Ricky gets them now thick and fast too. So we do explore this energy together, and it's like a bit of a treasure hunt when this information comes in, trying to put the puzzle pieces together for the next part of our journey. So, it looks like it's coming through on both sides, but you're feeling it more directly, divine feminine, and this is still something that masculine is waking up to, or it's still like an energy to be developed, especially being that low from underneath the deck. What did you get for 3 cards?
That's the first card.
This is for who? Feminine?
Yep.
I'm not myself. I'm not myself. This is it. This is like, that's what I felt like at the end of the thing. It's just like this big confused energy. Where is it? That 2 of Swords, wherever it is. Yeah, look, I'm not myself. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. Am I on this mission? Am I not on this mission? Am I a twin flame? Am I not a twin flame? There's a whole bucket load of crap that comes with that energy, and it doesn't, sometimes you don't even feel like you want to be on the planet. We have a running joke, and I'm already vulnerable out here as it is. I was sitting out on my driveway waiting for the aliens to come and get me to take me home. I didn't feel like I belonged on the planet. And I was looking up at the stars going, I just want to tap out of everything. I just want to go home. I'm sick and tired of 10 of Swords. And not that this is all at Ricky's feet. This was life. 10 of Swords. And I just felt like I didn't know myself at all. And that journey of ascension really brought this into alignment. If you're sitting here, divine feminine, if you've watched this video so far, I just want to say I see you, and I feel you, and I know how deep this runs. And look, this shadow energy, this shadow that just seems to stalk you, and it doesn't matter how hard you try at life, how much you give it your best shot. It's like this shadow energy just seems to stalk you, and you can't get a foothold. You just can't get a foothold in life. I want to say I see you, and that there's hope in these situations transforming, and the ascension journey is about bringing that into alignment, in going that your shadow and your real self and your higher consciousness, everything starts to come back into feeling like they all talk to each other again. Whereas when you're on this twin flame journey, you feel like everything's so split and that you don't even belong on the planet. So that is what I was feeling when I was coming into this reading, that divine feminine might be approaching a moment like this. And this idea of going, I wish I'd never come into this journey. And like, I'll put the Battlescar lyrics up there because it really resonates with me, especially that chorus. I wish I'd never looked, wish I'd never touched, right? I wish I just hadn't gone down that into that space. But I certainly don't say that now. I'm very happy to be on this side of the journey, and to be able to sit here and offer hope that if you're sitting in this situation, that you can, through the work and through continuing to be true to yourself and make this ascension journey, and we'll be right here to continue to keep our finger on the pulse and help wherever we can. So if this is resonating for you, just know we see you and we're sending love. Divine masculine, what have you got? Oh, not surprising, is it? I'm really picking on divine masculine tonight. Divine masculine is all about divine masculine. You got nothing to say, have
Nah.
you? You got nothing. Oh, sorry, there we had a little
Glitch.
technical glitch. You know why? It's because I've been being too hard on the masculine,
Been picking on us.
and it's like the whole system shut down and didn't want to listen to what I had to say. But it is divine masculine is all about divine masculine right now, and that's not a bad thing, because healthy selfish, if he's feeling this push from the universe to get on mission, and all it's doing is making him feel confused, and he's feeling defensive, that's a tough place to sit in, isn't it? And it's like I've got this urge to just be snappy and fight with people, and Five of Wands is a really pissy energy in the grand scheme of tarot. It's one of those really, it's a transitionary card, but it's probably one of the weaker energies in tarot. But when it sits in a challenge position, it's kind of amplified because it's a challenge already. So for mine, the divine masculine is he fighting with himself? Is he fighting with the idea of you? Is he fighting with the voice of the divine? His challenges are all about him right now. And you fit in amongst that mix. You might not be the number one thing, and you have to cop that on the chin because they're going through their own process, but you'll be in that mix somewhere. And divine masculine is in a process of transformation into the magician, which is where we want him. We want him to make this change, and if he has to be just divine masculine, all about divine masculine, guess what? Divine feminine. That's what we have to do. It makes you feel like your world is getting rocked. I know. I know how much it hurts to have all those knives in your back, but for the moment, this is what we're in a place of acceptance. Now, the kicker on this one is that the energies that are playing out right now are going to amplify all of the feelings on both sides of the coin. So you're probably going to feel that push and pull a lot more, and it might even lead to communication on this front. But if this connection is not healthy, if it's not baked properly, if it's not aligning properly, just be prepared for those outcomes as well. Now, your divine masculine might be there. I'm not saying everyone's arriving here differently. We cannot read for every single scenario. It's too much. But as an overall energy that's being applied to the twin flame dynamic right now, it's in that transition stage. So it's like you're going to be feeling like the pull is really intense, but you're also going to be feeling like you want to give up, like you just want to tap out. And if he's all about him right now, that leaves you feeling like all levels of confusion. We see you. Absolutely. Have you got a card for... Oh, yeah, see? What is this pain? It's a transition point, and I think if we do lean back on our experience and go from our perspective, this was one of the toughest moments, and for us it was coming into that confrontation where we did come back into each other's space, and like I say, as much as we felt the connection, gosh, it was messy. It was messy, and then we got to the point where it's going, oh, what is this pain? No. So if this connection comes back around under this cycle and it still feels like it's a mess, what is this pain? I'm going to call it transition, is what I'm going to call it. It feels to me like, and that's a 5, and I said it was transition, and this is a transition process as well. It's an alchemy. What is this pain? It's transition. And they use the word transition when you're in birth as well. And like we were talking, one of our lovely divine feminines, Michelle, I think Michelle, I was talking to you, and we were talking about the pain of labor, and it's like when the closer you get to the finish line, the more pain that you're actually suffering. It's a different pain because you don't know how long you have to push, and you don't know when that outcome's going to get there. But before you get to that last push of pain, it's like it goes through a transition space. And they call it transition in labor. They go, you've been laboring, getting ready to actually birth the baby, and then you go through transition, which is a moment where most mothers will scream out going, I can't do this, it's too much pain. And then the next part of the process is where the push changes to actually moving the baby down to be birthed. And what is this pain? I feel like we're in the pain of transition. That's how that's what I'm calling this energy, and it might even turn to be for us. That was when the runner chaser dynamic changed, where I just flat out stopped chasing, and we had a time where it was we didn't talk, and then it kind of reversed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
till we came back together and we actually worked with each other
Work with each
instead
other,
of
yes,
instead
definitely.
of working against the connection. So, what is this pain? I'm going to call this pain transition,
Transition.
and we're going to say anyone who wants to reach out, if you've got any specific questions that you want us to address in a reading, drop us a comment below because
Yeah.
we're more than happy to read for you. And also, if you've come this far in this reading, it's a long one, I know. And if you've got a specific angle or a star sign or anything like that that you go, can you read from this aspect? We want to start offering more readings or more angles, more ways we can help. So drop
Yeah.
us a comment about anything you want to know about. Short of that, we'll keep offering energy updates as well.
And if you want to do some private readings, we can do some private readings. Just shoot us a message on one of our platforms or drop your email in the comments below and we can
One of
go
us
from
will
there.
get in
Yeah.
touch. Yeah, because we have the capacity to do some Zoom readings for you, or email.
Yeah.
We'll find a way. But if you want a private reading with
Private reading or just in general for on here, just let us know. Drop it in the comments and
any way
hit
we can
like,
help,
share, and subscribe if you'd like. And
that's it. Like, share, subscribe.
yeah,
And I think that's about it from us. That
from
was
us,
a big
yeah.
reading with a lot of heavy messages. So we're going to send all of our blessings your way. We're here to help whenever you need, in faith, hope, and love. That's it from us. And bye for now.
Ciao.